Yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on? What's good? That's right. The Boxing Source is here, checking in live. This is the April 23rd, 2023 edition of the Boxing Source Radio Show, whatever it is, right? Yeah, I am still, recovering from yesterday, still in Las Vegas. It was a crazy scene there at the T-Mobile Arena as you had Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia as the main event. Of course, that was at 136 pounds. Both fighters undefeated. Both young, hungry fighters. Of course, Tank Davis is a multi-division world champion. Ryan Garcia, is a rising contender. First at like 135, and then had his last couple of bouts at 140 pounds before this one against St. Davis. And man, I mean, that was something where we kind of expected a couple of things to happen. The host is previewed this particular bout, not just here on the Boxing Source, but on other platforms as well. Pretty much had a pick as to who would come out as the victor for this particular fight. And I kind of like see it played out in a certain fashion. And it pretty much almost did play out right to almost the exact round that I picked. Yep, Tank Davis won by a 7th round knockout over Ryan Garcia, stays undefeated. Still has one of the highest knockout ratios in the sport of boxing. So 29-0 with 27 wins by way of knockout. He was just gauging what Ryan Garcia was doing, and Ryan Garcia did kind of get a couple of shots in, with this speedy jab, and had a couple of hooks. Did land a couple of left hooks early, but it was different levels. Different levels here. You pretty much seen that, right from the second round. Even after Ryan Garcia had like a quick start in the second round, he got caught, and kind of like seeing that coming. He threw a couple of combinations, but was doing the same thing, and it was one and done, almost there for Ryan Garcia, as Tank Davis had crouched down once Ryan Garcia was throwing his punches, and it was like he was throwing his punches without coming back, throwing, coming back, or stepping off. And so he left his right side open, right for the left to come back from Tank Davis, who ducked Ryan Garcia's first punch and then came right back with the left hand too for Ryan Garcia in the second round. You know what I'm saying? And thing about it is like, I mean, after that particular point, I thought it was going to be a fairly quick night. But it wasn't necessarily, and you seen Tank Davis be back to the patient, calm and calculating fighter that he is. So, even though there were a number of punches that were thrown by, Ryan Garcia, a number of them were missing. A number of them were out of range. That was, pretty interesting, given that he was the one that had the reach advantage over Tank Davis. But Tank Davis has the ability to, keep his distance away from his opponent, even though he has like a shorter reach. He can keep his distance away from his opponent and then cross back and then still come forward and be able to land with a shot. And we was talking about that in the presser before the fight. He was like, "Yeah, but I'm one of the more accurate punchers out there." Even though Ryan Garcia was saying like, "Hey, you have a low punch output," but Tank said, "Hey, I'm very accurate with my punches," and you kind of seen that he really does not waste his shots when it comes to trying to get at and break down his opponent. And he was able to do that, over the course of this fight. And then it got to, the 7th round, And in the seventh round, well, you know what happened? At one point, you did have Ryan Garcia backed Tank Davis to a corner, but wasn't able to take advantage of that, and Tank got out of that. Then at one point, you seen Tank Davis, land a left hand counter to the body when Ryan Garcia was throwing a shot, and then you seen Ryan Garcia back up a little bit, and then once he got near the ropes, he went down to one knee, and he ended up taking a full 10 count. So he took the full 10 count, and Tank Davis ended up winning by knockout. And the hot topic is, well, did Ryan Garcia quit? And whew, that is, been really a back and forth debate that's been going on around social media, around boxing outlets, and all of that. Is that they pretty much felt like some people feel like Ryan Garcia could have gotten up from that shot, while others are saying like, hey, look, man, that is a serious shot that Tank Davis threw, and that a lot of these times, especially with body shots, it's not like an immediate reaction to a body shot. Sometimes you end up having it to the point where you end up taking a knee. I mean, we've had it recently, in the past couple of fights. I think it was what, Jose Carlos Ramirez. He was able to score a body shot, uh and he knocked down his opponent Richard Comey, a few weeks back. Richard Comey didn't immediately react to it. He ended up, taking a few steps, then went, down to a knee. So, this isn't something that's like, rare, of course, in the sport of boxing. I mean, it happened many times. But, I kind of like seeing the work that Tank Davis was doing over the course of rounds leading up to the seventh round, where he was scoring shots to the body. So it's not like, it really is one shot. Sometimes it takes a few shots to the body for one of them to really take its toll, and have you pretty much fairly incapacitated. So it's one thing to take just one single shot, but when you take an accumulation of shots like Ryan Garcia was over the course of the fight, then it could end up being a one shot that left to the body that says, okay, that's all the body could take at the point. After that one particular shot, then that's it. It's a wrap, or it's whatever it is. So he ended up not being able to get up from that, and hey, that's it. That's it. So now Tank Davis, like I said, 29-0, 27 knockouts. He is, now, unbeaten. Now you kind of like see that, hey, he is looking to, get the other big fights that are out there in the sport of boxing, but it had been, pretty much stated that Tank Davis is continuing his career at 135 pounds. Yep, he's continuing his career at 135 pounds. So you know that there's a number of fighters that are out there still at 135 pounds. Of course, we know about what's going down on May 20th, with the undisputed lightweight title. So we'll definitely be talking about that here a little bit later. You know what I'm saying? And you got, a few other contenders there at lightweight. There was one particular fighter that was out there in attendance that some fans keep bringing up to say, hey, maybe there could be another fight with that guy, and that is Isaac Pitbull Cruz. He's still out there. Still a contender there in the lightweight division. And when I saw him out there, at the weigh-in, and after the fight, took place, there was a lot of attention being paid to Isaac Cruz out there. So I mean, if he has enough of a popularity or something like that, then maybe you'll have another fight between Tank Davis and Isaac Cruz. But I I mean, that's one of those options that is out there. You know what I mean? So, we do have uh, that as a potential fight. Some people are also bringing up Shakur Stevenson. Of course, he had a win a couple of weeks ago against Shoichiro Yoshino in Newark, and well, Shakur Stevenson looks like his priority is trying to go after Devin Haney. But Devin Haney, like I said, still has to worry about what's coming up on May 20th. But back to this whole thing with Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, man. I mean, that was like a whole event. That was a whole event. Um, I mean, I would talk about the undercard, but I'll probably delay that for a little bit. But when it comes to like the overall crowd that was at the T-Mobile Arena, I said it was like over 20,000 fans that were in attendance there at T-Mobile Arena, and all of them were pretty much there to see one particular fight, and that was the main event. So, that just showed like the amount of attention that both Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia had, last night. You know what I mean? And going off of that, from um, the follow up, like there's been a whole lot of, posts being made. It was trending, on social media and everything like that. So, for those that kind of like said, hey, I mean, this isn't really like a what so to speak, like a fight that fans would potentially be waiting for. No, 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 no. A lot of people were in tune with this fight. A lot of people, not just those in attendance, but those that were watching the pay per view or whatever it was. I mean, you definitely had a number of people that were really interested in seeing what would take place as far as like, hey, who would be the one to, kind of like emerge as the guy, so to speak, when it comes to the young fighters out there from a superstar perspective. So, I ain't necessarily, saying like, hey, the winner, kind of like is, well, maybe he is the face of boxing. Tank Davis may be the face of boxing. I mean, think about it. You had this particular bout that a number of people were paying attention to, you know, inside and outside of the boxing circle. A number of people were paying attention to it. So, I mean, if you got that many people, those eyes pretty much focused on you stepping out in the ring now, then I mean, you can't really, put that up for, much of a debate, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not just go ahead and acknowledge Tank Davis as a guy? I mean, I know that there's, still Canelo Alvarez that's out there, but going off of probably those past couple of fights, maybe, some people aren't really gravitating towards him as being the face of boxing. But, the thing is with Tank Davis, he has the thing there where he's from the US, from Baltimore, Maryland. So, you have that as a factor, as saying like, hey, he could be the guy that says that he is the biggest fighter in the sport. And the thing about it is here with this one, according to some people floating around here, he probably got like a good little chunk of money, for this particular fight. So I'm like, from this point forward, you really gotta view him as the top guy as far as like attention goes in the sport of boxing. And he also, showed like he is one of the more skilled fighters in the sport. The thing about him is that he is very cerebral in his attack, very calculated in his approach and what he does, when he fights his opponents, man. So, the thing with Tank Davis is like you can't deny his ability, when it comes to boxing skill. You know what I mean? That's the thing about it, is that people, have to recognize Vontae Tank Davis as one of the more skilled fighters in the sport, you know. And I think, here, not just here, but in this previous few fights, he's kind of like showed that. You know what I mean? It's just the way that he's able to break down his opponents and then end up finishing them, that makes it to the point where he is one of the more exciting fighters in the sport. Like I said, I mean, 29 wins now, 27 wins by way of knockout. I'm like, that thing about it is, I mean, like, with fights or boxing, the thing that has people gravitating towards, uh, you know, fans gravitating towards fighters is, hey, is he there to knock people out? And that's what Tank Davis does. You know what I'm saying? So why not, go ahead and have someone like uh, Tank Davis being there as the representative, as the best fighter in the sport. That's the thing that he was saying, or not necessarily the best fighter in the sport, but the face of boxing. That's what he said. To Jim Gray, that he pretty much said that, hey, I am the new face of the sport. You know, and when you have that particular crowd that was there at T-Mobile Arena, that probably set a record for attendance there at T-Mobile Arena. We're gonna have those pay-per-view numbers come out, and I'm telling you, those will be some really, really big numbers there, for this particular fight. So that just says like, hey, he, pretty much has the attention of pretty much most people around the country, and outside of the U.S. as well. So I mean, that's something that you have to, I would say, acknowledge. Then when it comes to Tank Davis, now back to the thing there with Ryan Garcia. Of course, he came in there undefeated. Um, looked like he, had like a pretty fast start or whatever it was. Like I said, first round looked like he was off to a good start. Second round, it looked like he was off to a good start too. He, tried to, get into Tank Davis a little bit, but I did not expect Ryan Garcia to, come at Tank Davis and, try to, ruffle things up a little bit. What I mean by that is, like, he really tried to get his big punches in close quarters, in the clinch. Um, just being like side to side, like throwing uppercuts and things like that. Not necessarily being consistent with the jab, not necessarily, trying to sit in or sit down with the left hook, but try to land uppercuts and short hooks on the inside there to, try to, affect Tank Davis there a little bit. But when he was, pretty much at a distance, that's when you kind of like seeing like, hey, he really doesn't have everything down yet. He still stands upright when he throws a lot of his punches, and he stands flat-footed, which, like I said, has him have the ability to get caught. But when he was throwing his first combination there against Tank in the second round, his feet were really out of place. So he really couldn't get himself in a good base to really take a shot coming back from Tank Davis. So that's why you're seeing him get knocked down in that second round. So yeah, he was able to get up, kind of like, he was able to get up against Luke Campbell a couple of years ago. But Tank Davis ain't no Luke Campbell. Of course, he certainly ain't no Luke Campbell. You know what I'm saying? And I think that particular punch that sent Ryan Garcia down to the canvas really affected what he was doing there in the later rounds. That was, something where he kind of like said, I don't know if I want to be, going out there as far as like being uh what I would say, what, balls to the wall or whatever it is, because I have that open opportunity where I could get caught. And that was the thing that I think that Ryan Garcia was looking out for. And you kind of like didn't see him, do most of the things that he's known for. I think, you know, Tank Davis took away that left hook. He took away that left hook, um, which is, of course, the main, the main weapon there, for Ryan Garcia. So, as Tank Davis was talking about, he's like, hey, all you have is a left hook. Well, the thing about it is that if you have more elements to your game than one particular punch, you're gonna have to show that. And I didn't really see that coming out of Ryan Garcia. One of the things that, you know, I was looking for is someone that's a taller fighter that has longer reach, do things that'll be able to, cut off the ring against your opponent. Tank Davis had free will to move all around the ring with nothing to really prevent him from getting to the outside of any big shot that Ryan Garcia would have possessed. Whether it was a left hook or whatever, or anything like coming, like if he was throwing a left jab and then following up with a right hand, he really couldn't pin down Tank Davis at that point. Whether it was a foot movement of Tank Davis or whether it was something where he could just kind of, throw in the right jab to the body, because sometimes he would throw that right jab to the body. That's a very important weapon there, against taller fighters that want to try to close in the distance against you sometimes. Whether they throw the jab to get in to throw their power shot or not, you throw in the jab, you kind of like stop their momentum, and then you also have the opportunity to get away, while they're still being affected or stunned a little bit by the jab. And so, Tank Davis just had that luxury, over the course of that fight. So, that was one thing that, with Ryan Garcia on that front, like he just didn't have that ability to cut off the ring there against Tank Davis too, you know. And the other thing is like, well, I mean, sometimes with Ryan Garcia, he's kind of like a counterpuncher of sorts. So he really doesn't have that type of ability to initiate the action. And when he does, you kind of like seeing where he's at. So I'm like, well, you can't really do that against someone with the experience level of Tank Davis. I know that Ryan Garcia, does have an amateur background, a fairly good amateur background. I mean, we talked about that leading into the fight. For those that were following the YouTube channel, you kind of like brought that up, with Ryan Garcia's dad, and Garcia, where it's like, hey, I mean, people are talking about like Ryan Garcia doesn't necessarily have that type of experience or whatever it is. No, he's had that in the amateurs. He's beaten some notable fighters in the amateurs. So it's not like he, you know, doesn't have that particular ability to try to, do things there in the ring. But I guess here it was just that he was too reliant on having a left hook to, take out a number of his opponents in the past, and to face and try to defeat an elite fighter in the pros, you're gonna need much more than one shot to, be able to try to defeat him. And Ryan Garcia didn't necessarily have that. You know what I mean? So, for him, I kind of like see like, hey, he went ahead, he took this challenge, he went in there and did his thing for a little bit, a couple of rounds here and there, but then eventually, ended up losing, like I said, by stoppage, seventh round KO. And he says like he wants to hang his head high because he was able to get through this particular bout, and says it's like, hey, he wants to what I would say continue his career at 140 pounds, whatnot. You know what I mean? But the question is, what is he going to be able to do at 140 pounds? He is, there in the rankings, and one of the rankings at 140 pounds, but um, does anyone feel like he could, right now is a serious contender in the 140-pound division? That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. Of course, you have various champions out there. You have Josh Taylor that's out there, who's about to face Teofimo Lopez. We know about Regis Prograis. You know what I mean? Um, we know about the whole thing with the 140-pound situation. As of right now, with the WBA, Rolly Romero is going to be facing Ismael Barroso. So you do have that, and then Super Matias is the IBF champion. So do people feel like Ryan Garcia has a shot to defeat um, not just any one of those champions, but some of the top contenders there at 140 pounds? Who knows? But it'll really be interesting to see what they will be able to do to match up Ryan Garcia here at this particular point. He says that he wants to continue to contend at 140 pounds. So there's that, right? Other thing, going from this fight, right? Going into that seventh round, you did have, Tank Davis, having the advantage there through 6 rounds. Scorecards had one judge have it 58-56. One judge had it 59-55, and another judge had it 59-56. Was that judge that had it 59-56, David Moretti, scored this second round 10-10. Yep, that was the round that Tank Davis, scored a knockdown. So it's like, wait a minute. How does a fighter score a knockdown and the judge scored about 10-10? Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about? Like, even like you can't even have like any type of explanation for that. Like, you can't even like have it a like. If some people even say like it could have been a 9-9 round. Well, the only way it could be a 9-9 round is if you have the person that got knocked down, have pretty much the advantage during that particular round up to that knockdown. And some people kind of like feel like they don't really feel like Ryan Garcia did have much of an advantage up to that knockdown. Shoot, the two other judges scored that round 10-9 when it should have been like a 10-8 round for Tank Davis. Like, he was the one that scored the knockdown. He was the one that pretty much had the advantage from that point up to the end of the round. So how would you have it 10-9 or 10-10 unless Ryan Garcia like clearly was levels above Tank Davis in that particular round, which looking at it live, I was like, nah, there's no way that was happening or taking place. So thing about it is like you can try to I guess explain one way or another, like maybe Garcia did a little bit, but not enough to kind of like say that he clearly won the round up to the point of the knockdown. Can't really say that. So it's not just a thing with Dave Moretti scoring a round 10-10. It's about having the judges not really scored 10-8 in favor of Tank Davis. So like for real, I don't know what they were necessarily seeing in that particular instance. So I gotta some people gotta call into question sometimes the actions of judges there in scoring these rounds. It's not just the end result sometimes kind of like tries to erase what happens with the scorecards, but here in this instance for that second round, yeah, that doesn't make much sense at all. But even outside of that, at least a couple of judges there, kind of Davis there, for the majority of the bout. But the thing with Moretti is, I think he almost had the thing pretty close there all across the board. Like I said, I mean Tank Davis had the lead through 6 rounds, but only one judge had it to where Tank Davis won 5 rounds to one. And that includes the second round where it was like a 10-9 round, for two judges and a 10-10 round for one. That didn't necessarily make any sense there in this particular instance. But back to the whole thing, man, with the knockdown, right? Um, I kind of like seen one comment out there from one fighter or whatever it is. Kind of like said, if Ryan Garcia was able to take the full 10 count and got up after the ref counted the 10, then he quit. Ooh. And that's the thing on one side where other people or other fighters are saying like, hey, you know like it's different when you take a body shot. It's different when you take a body shot, and he, Ryan Garcia took a clear shot, to the body there in that joint. You know what I'm saying? So uh I don't know, man. So, that's the thing. I think well, here on our live on the live through YouTube, we got a couple, folks on the chat checking in, man. We got shout out to Zoe, man. He said Ryan didn't quit. He tried. You know, he definitely did give an effort. There in this particular thing. He said like he tried to get up. He tried to get up there. Thing was. So there was that. Um, Oh yeah. It was the event. Like I said, it was a real big event. You had a lot of folks out there. You seen, former fighters there, Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, out there, Riddick Bowe out there. Current fighters out there. David Benavidez is out there. For another little reason too. You had Caleb Plant out there. You had Stephen Fulton out there. Like I said, Isaac Cruz is out there. Um, Another former fighter there, Andre Berto, now seen out there too. Of course, and a number of other fighters too. Um, like Errol Spence. But yeah, we didn't necessarily see pretty much Crawford there. What he said, Zoe also said like, hey, Ryan is technically flawed. He has the tools, but his skills are subpar. Well, here's another thing I want to bring up with that, right? So here was the thing in reference to Ryan Garcia that I wanted to kind of like bring up, because here was another thing that was a element to this particular fight, and that was the corners. Of course, you have the team there with the Tank Davis there from Upton, of course, Coach Calvin Ford, Coach Kenny Ellis, and on the other side, you had Hall of Fame trainer there, Joe Goosen, right? And Joe Goosen has been with, Ryan Garcia for the past few fights, you know. And the thing with him is like, what could he do? What elements that he could add to Ryan Garcia's game that could have him be competitive there against Gervonta Tank Davis? And those initial rounds, you kind of like seen just the the level of tools that Ryan Garcia has, but you've also seen the um, lack of some fundamentals that he could really grasp. And like Zoe said, like Ryan Garcia just didn't have foot positioning down one bit. Real quick, want to add in a esteemed columnist here to the Boxing Source has been chipping in since the jump here, checking in from the Georgia area. Of course, the boxing academic is in the building. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, JR? Nothing
Oh,
too much,
good to
man. Just chilling, just trying to chop it up with you, man. Just tired from cutting grass, man. It's that
yeah,
time of year.
yeah, it certainly is that time of year. You got that transition, man, from the whole winter joint and then the spring, and then like you said, you got April, so you know how it jumps off over in the south.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I ain't really hear too much of your breakdown.
But word, yeah, like you just jumping in here, man. No, one of the last things I was bringing up was the coaches for both sides there, and Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. You had of course Coach Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny there, that teach there Tank Davis, but also with on the other side Joe Goosen, and one of the focus is, well, one of the main things was what had Joe Goosen been able to teach Ryan Garcia over the previous few months that would make him, be viable, threat to try to get to Tank Davis in this particular fight? And what we saw here in this bout was some of the same things that we've seen in the past from Ryan Garcia. When it came to foot position, when it came to leaving his chin open, when throwing punches, leaving himself open in those counters, and other things as far as like the inability to try to cut off the ring or cut off the movement of Tank Davis. That was something I said earlier, was that Tank Davis had the ability to move around the ring at will. You couldn't really see Ryan Garcia do something to try to say, hey, if I have somebody that is a southpaw and he's trying to get away from me, like give him something where he doesn't have an option to get away. So and that's the thing I didn't see there from Tank Ryan Garcia, there. Zoe says like, he said he tried to add a straight right hand allegedly. Well, we didn't necessarily see that, because if you're gonna have somebody that's a southpaw, you know, there's one way that you could, get them from moving away from you on one side, and that is your lead foot. And if you have your lead foot on the outside, you can't necessarily have them try to go that particular way or go to your left. But if he tries to go to your right, then you have that right hand to try to say, okay, if you're gonna do that, then you know, throw that right hand. But Ryan Garcia didn't necessarily have that, so that kind of like very limited his options as far as like what he could do against Tank Davis. So I mean, that just shows you the level of skills that both of these fighters have there at this particular point. And we saw that over the course of 7 rounds, was that Tank Davis just broke down Ryan Garcia and just capitalized on all of the flaws that Ryan Garcia had. So that's pretty much what I had up to this point for um, the initial analysis. What was your reaction to the fight first, and then of course if Ryan Garcia quit?
So I'll just go down my scorecard because
Mhm.
I obviously scored the fight. So first round, I scored it 10-9 for Garcia. Garcia won off activity in that first round. He made a point to use his jab, and you could see that him using his length and kind of believing in his mind and showing through his actions that he was the the I wouldn't even say the bigger man, but I want to say something that's close to the bigger man, the tougher man, bigger man. He
Hmm.
showed that with his body language and with the jab, and so that kind of had Tank a bit off balance. And it's the first
Hmm.
round too, so Tank sort of downloads information. He don't throw too many shots anyway, but
Hmm.
just off activity, I gave that round to Garcia. So it was a good round, good way to use the jab. It had Tank off balance.
Yeah.
Round two. Oh, was you coming on behind that?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Round two, I scored it 10-9 for Tank Davis.
Mm.
And I saw a lot of people online like judges scorecards. How could they score 10-9? How could they? And this, my scorecard is before I saw anything or heard anything about judges scorecards or anything. Now the 10-10, you know, you gotta wonder how that happened now. But I could speculate, but I'll just tell you, what I thought and why I scored it the way I did. So Garcia definitely won the round. Like he won the round big in terms of everything except for the last 30 seconds. And so he decided to crank it up a bit. And the crazy thing with him is that while it was good for while it lasted, I don't think he actually knew that was the right time to crank it up. I just think he was like, he said from his own mouth that he was bored and just wanted to just crank up the action. And while he was winning, it was a good idea. And he had what's the name off balance. He hurt him at one point in time. I gotta give Tank a lot of credit because Tank weathered that storm, held him, did what he needed to do. He was off balance at times from
Hmm.
probably being hurt, and he did what he needed to do to weather the storm. And so if you count everything except for the last 30 seconds, Garcia won that round big. Not enough for me to give him 10-8. That's like subjective, right? That's subjective. But when judges give people 10-8 rounds, and okay, like I could argue that in one of them Tim Bradley versus Provodnikov rounds where he was hurt really, 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 really bad, you could argue that he gave him a 10-8. But the thing is, Bradley was throwing more punches, was landing more punches,
Mm.
and Provodnikov just happened to just clock him more. But I'm saying if there's a round with somebody like falling over, they don't fall, but they just got bludgeoned, you can
Mhm.
make an argument to give them a 10-8 round. So Garcia won the round to me. Enter Garcia, pressing the action. It's working. He hurt Tank. Tank surviving in a sense. Like not surviving to the point to where he was in danger of being stopped per se, but surviving to where it was like it was getting to the point to where, Garcia could have landed something and could have sort of hurted him. So he survived that encounter. So Garcia now starts throwing, being left hand heavy, left hook heavy. And so, Garcia, when he throw his hook, it's like imagine your hand down to the left side of your body and then lift your hand up to the side as if you're going out like you like just lift your hand straight up out
Mm.
from the side, out away from your body, and then cuff your hand like you throwing a hook. That's how he sort of throw a hook.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's fast to where when he throws it, it looks Hollywoodish. It looks like spectacular. It looks wide. It looks, like when you in the wild and they say if you want to keep a bear off, you got to look big or something, right?
Hmm.
And so he throw that hook and it looks Instagram. It looks Hollywood. It looks nice. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't okay. I'm not gonna say it look nice. It looks flashy in a sense.
Hmm.
But the thing is, He throw the hook, it takes so long to get there. By the time it gets anywhere near Tank, Tank done already made one move. Damn near made two moves. And so he threw the hook. Tank saw it from a mile away because it came from a mile away. Tank moved out the way. What's his name was off balance because he got to work on his balance and stuff. And that's a major part of why he couldn't counter. Like I'm just gonna mention this point and I'll talk to it again. But
Mhm.
one of the major themes in this fight is you had a Corvette or whatever you want to call Tank, a strong car. You had a Mustang because he's a strong car, and then it's got like six gears in it. And then you had Ryan Garcia. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just using this as the metaphor. But then you had Ryan Garcia, who was like one of them nice, new Ford cars, and it's like a automatic. You know what I'm saying? It was an automatic, and it just it ain't gonna reach the power that Mustang can get.
Mm.
And so Tank on the base level, Ryan and Tank fighting each other on the base level, but then Tank started doing things that showed you that he could crank it into another gear or crank it into another level, which to me was when Ryan Garcia threw his left hand, left hook. Tank got out the way, and then he was on balance enough to always counter.
Yeah.
And so the first time Ryan Garcia saw that was when his ass got clocked, knocked on his butt. So he threw that wide left hook. He missed wide. He looks, very similar to how Deontay Wilder looked when he threw that hook against Tyson Fury. And then Tyson Fury was like, "Did you really just do that?" And then Tyson Fury was just like, "Wow," just clocked him. So Tank saw him, and Tank just like looking at him, slow motion. And then he come with that dang that left hand, bow, hit him right in the
Yeah.
face. And then, Ryan wasn't hurt enough to where it damaged him so much, but it was just an eye opener. It caught him, it buzzed him. He
Hmm.
recovered very well. It wasn't no debilitating shot, but what that put in his mind was doubt. So from that point on, he like, oh crap, this man gonna counter me every time I throw this left hand,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
what he was doing. He was countering him every time he threw the left hand. And so if you go back and watch the fight, you can see how the difference between when when Tank threw his strong hand or whatever hand, I don't know which hand it was, but nevertheless, Tank landed on his back foot to be able to counter and have his weight on his back foot to be able to counter back with a shot every time Garcia threw his left hand.
Hmm.
So Garcia won round two. Tank hit him with the big shot, knocked him down. So to me, that's a 10-9 round because, 1 point because Garcia won the round, but then you give Tank the point back because he knocked him down, and then you take the point away from Garcia because Tank knocked him down. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it ain't a 10-8, it's a 10-9 simply because Garcia won the round and he was
Hmm.
winning the round very big to me. So the next three rounds are not as exciting. I mean, they are exciting, but they're more. These are probably the easiest rounds to score.
Yeah.
Round three, Davis won the round. He landed the more effective shots, and obviously he quelled Garcia's spirit a bit.
Yeah.
And the thing is that Davis was not setting up his. He was setting up his shots, but he was doing it and throwing one big shot at a time. He wasn't setting it up with the jab per se. Now, what I will say he was doing, he was using that lead hand control to where he would
Yeah.
pin Garcia's hand to his face and make sure that Garcia couldn't use that left hand, which is why this fight was so easy for Tank once he got what's his name respect in his mind. because he had his hand. He couldn't. What's the name? Couldn't use the left hand. He couldn't use his left hand. And when he did use it, guess what happened? He got his butt knocked out, or got his butt
Or at
clocked.
least, yeah, or counting, yeah.
Yeah, he got countered. Round four, it was a close round, but for the most part, the big shots was landed by Davis, and he landed like a few. He landed quite a few big shots at the end. So round four for Davis, round five for Davis. Garcia is pretty much shell shocked from the power at this point, and this was literally what I wrote. He left his jab in round two, and he's not winning the presence battle. And when I say presence, like in the first couple rounds, you could feel his presence was large, and he was showing that physically and mentally to Tank, and Tank had to give way because it was just a menacing presence in the first two rounds. After that shot, he wasn't winning that presence battle, and part of the reason why is because he stopped jabbing as well too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Round six, I gave it a 10-10 round because it was a close round to me. Garcia landed big shots early. Tank landed big shots mid round, but nobody did anything to me to put them above the other opponent. And those type of rounds, it just really depends on what you like. Like, do you like the bigger shots, or do you like like do you like whatever was doing? And nobody did more to me in that round. Like it's just a preference on that one. So I scored that one 10-10. After we know what happened in round seven, KO by Tank to the body. And again, what led up to that KO is that Ryan threw big left hook. Coming from left field. Tank did the dang matrix, got out the way, and you could see this in slow motion. You could see him doing this in like a slow pace. One thing you got to get a Tank, he don't throw. He needs to throw more shots. But the thing you got to give it to him, you could see him thinking slow. You could see him thinking fast, but slowing everything down in his mind.
Yeah.
And so that is also the difference in this fight, the level of IQ. Tank has some flaws in that he don't throw enough punches. And he was uncomfortable when what's his name was throwing that jab. Garcia just don't know when to crank it up. I mean, if it worked, okay, you can say that was the time to crank it up, but okay, it was the time to crank it up because it was working, except for him just throwing that wild hook. But it wasn't the right time to me to do that per se. Like it was working, but the right time, one has to know when the right time to do something like that. And I think he just did it just because, just like, all right, let me just show him I'm better than him. Let me just start throwing shots and show him that I'm better than him. Like, he doesn't have any method to his rhyme or reason versus Tank. Tank, like, all right, now's the time for me to show him. And Tank beat him like literally in a boxing match. He outboxed his man. He was very efficient in the shots that he threw. Again, I think he needs to use the jab a bit more. The lead hand dominance was superb because he fought a fighter that was limited and didn't know how the different levels to use his front hand. And he had that hand pinned, and he could do whatever he wanted to because he didn't have to worry about a jab popping him in his eye or anything else. He just had to worry about a looping shot. And what's his name was afraid to throw the right hand because he was afraid to get countered as well. But it was a totally different fight after the round two knockdown. Garcia was dominant before the big shot, and then he stopped jabbing after that. To your point, Davis, Tank saw the wide left hand, got out the way like the Matrix, did an uppercut, bow, hit him right in the liver. And so What happened was Garcia backed away. He took 2 steps away, and then in his mind, he started thinking. And he said, he asked himself, and he even said this during his press conference. He asked himself, can I take this shot? He said no. So he said, okay, let me give myself more time. So I'm going to take this knee. He got down on his knee. And so referee starts counting. At that point, I would say that's a good decision. Give yourself time. You're compromised. The bill hurt. It's a good body shot. Give yourself time to recover. Okay, you lost this round. Cool. Win it back later. So now he on the ground and he's on one knee. He's
Yep.
looking up at Tank. Tank like, get up, get up, get up. And he can see the ref in his face. And so he literally shakes his head and he says no. And in his mind, he's thinking, can I do I want to get up? That's what he asking himself. And at the end of him asking himself that, he says no. He says, no, I don't want to get up. And the reason why I know this happens outside of me just looking at him, you could see him thinking on the floor. And then he shook his head no to the ref. And then at count number 10, he pops up like nothing ain't wrong with him. So he has a choice. And I'm going to liken this to Keith Thurman. I'm going to contrast it to Keith Thurman.
Okay.
You know, I sent you the video, but I'm going to explain this to everybody listening. Keith Thurman got hit with quite a few good body shots. And the same thing that happened to Ryan Garcia happened to Keith Thurman. You can think of Pacquiao hitting him with that body shot, and that body shot is what won the fight for Pacquiao. You can think of Luis Collazo hitting Keith Thurman with that body shot. But one thing we have to say about Keith Thurman is mentally strong. Keith Thurman I've heard people say that Keith Thurman has 2 left feet at times. Like he fumbled over his feet, but he got movement enough to like get out the way. I'm going to say that in contrast to that, but Keith Thurman has will. He's a fighter that has pride, and in the middle of 2-3 different fights, Keith Thurman is compromised. He gets hit with the body shot. In his mind, he steps back and he thinks to himself, should I go down and give myself some time? And the other voice in his mind says, no, if you do that, that's going to make this fight even closer. You can't go down. Okay, what else can I do? Take this mouthpiece out with Barrios and Pacquiao. Take this mouthpiece out and breathe. Run around the ring and breathe. Give yourself time. Run around. Don't engage. Don't let him hit you. Breathe.
Word.
But all I'm saying is, after that shot, there is a choice that Keith Thurman made. I'm not going to go down. This hurts really bad, but I'm not going to go down. B, I need to survive this round. Okay, I might not have won this round. I need to survive. But the choice he made, though, which allowed him to be in them fights, is he decided to get up. People ask, did Ryan Garcia quit? Now, the thing about yes is my answer. And the reason why I say that is because we can all say it was a debilitating body shot and it left him compromised. But what's one thing that we did not see him try to do?
What's that?
Thanks. He didn't try to get up.
Yeah.
Now, it's one thing if he gets hit with a body shot, he tries to get up and he says, oh, I can't do it. After he tried to get up, he's like, oh my gosh, this is too much for me. He did not try to get up because he told himself, I don't want to be a meme all over the internet because this is my realm. This is the realm in which I live and have boost myself up. I don't want to be a meme.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take the rest of what I feel like is gonna come. I don't have confidence in myself. I can't do it. That's what he told himself. I can't do it. And then he shook his head no. He when he said I can't do it is when he shook his head no. He looking up at the ref for Gervonta Davis and he shook his head no and he said I can't do it. And he quit.
Well,
Now, now let me
yeah.
say one more
Go ahead.
thing.
Word. Go ahead.
We have to give a lot of credit to Ryan Garcia for walking in the ring and fighting a man that had more tools, more horsepower, more intelligence in terms of boxing. I ain't talking about just, like math and stuff. More intelligence in terms of boxing and getting in there and risking it all. You got to give him credit for that. But I can't say I'm surprised that he quit. The reason why I'm saying that is because you can see as above, so below, as within, so without. You have seen instances of Ryan Garcia, dare I say it, being mentally weak. I pray the man when he gets around from this, he understands that a loss to Gervonta Davis, the world will still go on. You a boxer, it happens to the best of people. I'm saying that I hope he doesn't take this personally and go into some spiral and think that this has an indictment on him. But you did quit. And the thing is, how would he have looked at this fight if he did try to get up and then he let his corner throw in the thing in the ring, throw in the towel, and or like he would have looked at this fight totally different if he told himself, I'm gonna at least try at the end, even
Right.
when the odds were against me. Because that's what Andy Ruiz did when Joshua knocked him down. He said, I'm gonna try. And guess what happened to him? He won a title. Mexican American, first Mexican American. I You could see social media, which is the realm in which Ryan Garcia lives on, has this facade. It's a beautiful facade. It makes you think that the pictures that you see online are the best thing since sliced bread and worth its weight in gold. But when you go on the other side of that camera, outside of that still image,
Mm-hmm.
you see it's all angles and mirrors and camera tricks. And when you have to go with a bit more depth, it ain't depth there to be found. Again, I'm not trying to go on no indictment on Ryan Garcia. I take my hat off to the man, but I I hope that he seeks to find a team, someone, something to help him build mental toughness, to understand that we go through adversity and we have to fight it inch by inch, step by step. It starts with a choice. Dang, this man is above me. He's getting stronger. I'm getting weaker. Let me decide to just get up. Next, let me decide to just get out of this round. Next, let me decide. And Andre Ward. If Andre Ward didn't get up, would he have won that first fight with Kovalev? And knowing how he win the second fight,
Right.
I just wish the man find somebody to help him build his mental adversity because that's what people are missing. I've been very long winded. My bad.
Yeah, the thing is, like he had that particular choice on if he wanted to get up or not. It almost was similar to like I compared it to Sebastian Fedora, when he got knocked down by Brian Mendoza. But there was also another time when he took a knee and then got up and then turned around and won the fight, and that was against Erickson Lupa. But I got to add in another guest here in the building. The Boxing Source Hall of Famer, the president of the Deontay Wilder Fan Club, Mr. MVO. And I know he got something to say.
Can you hear me now?
MVO, what up?
Yo, first of all, I want to say shout out to the Boxing Academic. That was excellent analysis, worthy of your name. Shout out to the Boxing Source. I saw the content you posted from Vegas. Excellent content. Keep doing what you're doing. But we are here to talk about the face of boxing, and that face is named Gervonta Tank Davis. He put on an immaculate performance yesterday. Honestly, he put on an immaculate promotion from top to bottom, from beginning to end. This was one of the better promotions that I've seen in quite some time. When it came to a fight, these guys brought the excitement. They brought basically a different set of eyes onto the sport. And for those who tuned into the sport last night, you were treated to a first round knockout in the co-feature and then a virtuoso performance from Gervonta Tank Davis. It was fun all around. We got a definitive decision. There was no controversy. Everything went how it was supposed to go. And now Gervonta Tank Davis cements his spot at the top as the face of boxing.
Now that is another one of those topics there that you have for this particular bout. Is that was this bout here for the title of the face of boxing, and that would it be enough to kind of like take away the mantle from Santos Saul Alvarez Barragan as the number one guy to get the most attention from not just boxing fans, but people outside of the sport of boxing.
That's very true. Very, very true. I thought it was good for the sport. We don't want to see no unanimous decision, some boring fight. We like the knockouts. We like the stoppages. We like the excitement. And that's exactly what you got yesterday when it came to the co-feature and the main event. That's what boxing needed. Thank you to Gervonta Davis. Thank you to Ryan Garcia for putting lipstick on the pig that is the sport of boxing and making us look good at least for one night.
Yeah, we're so you just coming in here, MVO. We kind of like had our analysis. The Boxing Academic said that that Ryan Garcia quit. He made the decision after the body shot not to get up.
I don't think he could have gotten up. Or he
And how do you know that?
Got smoked, because if he could have got up, he would have.
You see what you're doing right there? I'm gonna tell you what a smart man told me one time, and this has served me very well. Don't imagine her. Observe her. Don't imagine what you think he would have done. Observe what he actually did. You assuming that he would have gotten up if he could have gotten up. Why didn't he try to get up? If he would have tried to get up, we would have known that he couldn't have gotten up.
You're assuming that he could have gotten up. Also, you're assuming that he didn't get up because he quit. That is another assumption. Is that what you observed? No.
I observed that he didn't try to get up. He stayed on the ground and he didn't try.
He got hit with a crazy body shot that he literally did not see. Tank was under him when he hit him. He literally didn't see it. And the funny thing is, if you look at Tank's reaction when he hit Ryan, Tank knew that he was hurt. You see Tank's reaction. Tank was like, oh, he knew that this guy was hurt. The boy couldn't breathe. I think what happened was he got hit. He know it hurt. He took a step back to try to gather himself, try to catch his breath. When he realized that sharp pain, that real sharp stabbing pain, when he felt that, he fucking took a knee. He took a knee.
He chose to take a knee, and he chose not to try to get up.
He chose to
And
take a
and
knee
tell this
because he
dude,
couldn't
whoever
breathe.
named Lord Zoe, stop riding people dick. If he want to get on the show, get on the show. But if
Oh,
Whoa.
whoa,
What,
whoa.
what are you mad at, Boxing Academic?
I ain't mad at that. I'm just telling this man if he want to get on the show, he can get on the show. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
You
come on,
pulled
man.
my teeth, man. Like, come
That was
on.
very comfy.
We ain't
Yeah,
never heard. We ain't never heard Bisect talk like
yeah.
that.
I thought Leonard Ellerby was the angriest guy this weekend. Jesus.
Nah. He wasn't. Ellaby wasn't the angriest guy this weekend, man. He was cool, man. He was cool.
He said, that's why we took your fucking fighters. Floyd beat them all. You was asleep under the wheel.
But all I would have asked for the man to do is to just try to get up the same way he made a decision to get on the knee to
What
make a
makes you
decision
think? What makes you think he didn't try to get up?
because he didn't try. I saw the video. Did you see him try to get up? You got a cat, man.
Yeah, I got a cat. You know my cat's name, right?
I don't want to guess. With you, it could be quite a few things. Tell
It's
us.
Diego Chico Corrales.
Okay, that's nice.
Right, Chico?
Yes, Chico. Chico the cat, man. Well, so someone on the live chat here, shout out to the key, brings up something here. When he wiped the blood from his nose, he knew it was time to quit. And I think we kind of brought that up was that Ryan Garcia also had that bloody nose up to that point. So it was like, hey, do I want to necessarily continue and get punishment or whatever it is? So that was also something on his mind.
I just think he couldn't get up. I feel like he would have gotten up if he could.
You
Like
assume that he couldn't get up.
If Ryan Garcia wanted to quit, why didn't he quit after he got knocked down the first time?
We have the luxury and the fortunate it's beautiful and it's also unfortunate that we get to judge men live on TV and we see what their character is made out of. When you are faced with adversity, you show who you truly are. And when he was faced with a shot that was within his threshold, he got hit, he got back up, but then when he got hit with the body shot, he's thinking the whole time on the floor, do I want to continue? Do I want to get highlight reeled and get clowned on Instagram and all this other stuff? And he made a decision not to continue because he didn't want to go through the fire that he would have had to go through.
Okay. I agree to disagree.
Look at the video. Look at the video based upon my observation, and you look at it, like watch it right now of the knockout, the ending of the knockout, and then you can see him thinking and telling himself, "I can't do it." And then he said, "I can't do it," and he shook his head, "No, I can't do it." Match over with.
Okay.
He deserves a lot of credit, though. He got in the ring. He fought a guy who anybody would have a tough out to fight.
Mm.
Well, did he fight the guy who is the very best at 135?
I mean, we still can speculate here because Shakur looking pretty good. I mean, Devin, I think that's a beautiful question to ask because you don't know.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's like some people say that Tank Davis is the top guy, 135 pounds or whatever it is, or whatnot. But that's the thing. On the live chat, you got Jid there. Talk about Ryan Garcia saying that is it he made excuses like right after he signed the contract, or he had his parents talking about a couple things too there, but you know Ryan, was able to try to do as much as he could, but like you were saying, like after that knockdown in the second round, it was a whole different animal. And also to the key on the live chat said like the bloody nose that Ryan Garcia had there made him realize that Tank was doing damage. Well, yeah, there was that, and then but there were also some good body shots that he was taking over the course of 7 rounds too
Yeah,
before that last body shot. So it was one thing, and I think it kind of was something that Coach Calvin Ford was talking about. He wanted Tank to punish Ryan Garcia, and it was almost up to that particular point. It was just that he was working up to those things there. Well, we got we had a call out, and now we got an answer in the building, so we got to bring him up. Lord Zoe,
What's up,
up
my
in
folks?
here,
What's up,
man.
my
What's happening?
folks?
What's
Yo,
happening?
MVO, man. I want my tomahawk steak, MVO.
how we go from a sirloin to a tomahawk, man?
I'll take a sirloin. Fuck it. Let's get some shit.
But
All
what you
right.
thought about the fight, Zoe? 'Cause I know you like to follow this shit closely.
Okay, man. Going in, I thought Ryan was like a mediocre fighter that had all the tools. But watching the fight, he's worse than I thought he was, bro. He has no clue about foot positioning. He has no clue of like even how to control distance, how to cut off the ring, anything. He's fucking garbage. I feel hurtful saying this shit because I like Ryan because he's good for the sport of boxing. Tank too, you feel me? Tank too, they're good for the sport of boxing because I'd rather see an American who speak English as the face of boxing than that, nigga in San Juan, Mexico, whatever the fuck he's from. You feel me? But Ryan Garcia has the same skill level of a fucking Blair Cobbs, of a skill level of a fucking. He's worse than Marius Barrios. He just has more athletic ability. He does not understand how to box and get the job done. But what I would disagree is that he quit shit. He didn't quit. He got hit with a perfect shot. I don't see how you said he quit. He got hit with a perfect shot, and I think he tried to get up. You can see it in his face. He wanted to get up. He was wincing in pain. He wanted to get up. He couldn't. His body was not responding. He got hit with a perfect shot. It happens.
So Zoe, let me ask you a question.
Yo,
If when you sitting in your bed in the morning and you wanna get out the bed, what's the first thing you do to get out the bed?
I don't know.
You stand, right? You stand. You stay. You get 10 toes down. You stand. You stand. That's what you do, right?
Yeah,
Well, I
sometimes
check to see if
I
my feet's still there.
stretch. I stretch. I scratch. I scratch my
Okay, but let's
balls. I
say
stretch.
after all
Yeah.
that stuff, you eventually stand. You eventually get on your feet and you stand.
Yeah, but a 10 count pass by then.
So all I'm saying is, what you did in the morning is different than what he actually tried to do. He never tried to stand. Had he
But
tried to stand, that would be a totally different story, and people would be saying something totally different about this fight. They wouldn't be
but
questioning.
a lot of professional boxers are not saying he quit. A lot of professional boxers saying if you've been in that position, got hit with that shot, you'll understand. That's what I'm hearing a lot of professional boxers say. They're not saying he quit. There's not many people saying he quit out there, other than Mexicans who lost their bets. But most people are not saying he quit. They're saying he got hit with a perfect shot.
So I hear you, but look at Keith Thurman. Keith
I'm looking
Thurman.
at Donier. I'm looking at Inoue versus Donier. The difference is Donier probably had more time to recover because he ran away around the ring, so he had a little more time to recover. That's why I compare it to. I think if Ryan had a little more time to recover, he would have got up.
What you mean by a little bit more time? What you mean by that?
Remember when Donier got hit with the body shot by Inoue? He ran around the ring. He ran like a good 6 seconds around the ring before he fought and went to the ground, and then took an 8 count and got up. So he had like a good 14 seconds of recovery. You feel me?
Gotcha.
Ryan, I feel like if Ryan would have did some shit like that or ran around, he would have got. Because I think he got up at like 10 seconds. He was up at the 10. I think he lived. To me, in my eyes, when I'm watching him at the count of 8, before he wipes his nose, I think I see him put his fist on the ground like he wants to get up, and his body wouldn't let him do it.
Again, we all imagining. Let's take a pause in the show and go and look at it together. And you see him. He shake his head no around count number 9 or so, and then at count number 10, guess what he does? He hops up and then he gets 10 toes down when the match is over with. He jumps right on up at count 10.
I think he was trying, man. I think he was trying to get up, bro. I really think he was trying to get up. He just couldn't.
That's fair. I respect it.
And me as a Tank hater, I'm trying not to take credit from Tank for that knockout. As a Tank, I'm not trying to take credit away from him. So we gotta give respect. It was a legitimate knockout, and he was trying to get up. It was a perfectly placed shot, and he didn't even see the shot. You can see his face. Tank's reaction lets you know he wasn't gonna get up. Tank's reaction was like, oh shit, you know when you caught. Like, even if you ever played baseball and you hit the ball good as fuck, as soon as you hit the ball, he's like, oh shit, I hit him. You can tell by Tank's reaction, like, oh shit, I got this motherfucker. So that's how I knew it was a legitimate shot. He was trying to get up, he couldn't breathe.
Let me tell you what I heard at the post-fight press conference. They asked this man, they said, what were you thinking when you decided not to get up? And then they was like, did you think about getting up? And so he said, yeah, I told myself that I wanted to get up, but then the announcer was like, oh, was it that you couldn't breathe? And he was like, yeah, it was oh yeah. He was like, yeah, I don't know why I just didn't decide to get up. I wish JR could play the audio for that, because you wouldn't get in trouble for the audio, would you?
Yeah, would.
Oh, okay.
Like he like grimaced twice or whatever it is. But I want to add in another guest. They request be have their little spin on things. So shout out to Tip Bayless in the building, joining the boxing source, man. Tip, what's happening?
Yo, what up, boys?
What's good?
Yeah, man. When I was watching the fight, right, I was like, he didn't quit. You know what I'm saying? It didn't look like he quit. It looked like he took a good body shot, and he just wasn't gonna be able to get up from it. You know what I'm saying? Like he showed a poker face. Like he really showed a poker face like 2 seconds after getting hit. But once he took that second step back, he winced. You can see it in his face that he winced, and he dropped to his knee. I was like, man, I was like, he took a good body shot. He wasn't gonna get up for that. Even that, he was gonna get put right back down with another body shot. But then I had to look again. I had to say to myself, Ryan didn't have the experience to get up from that shot at all, and he did quit. And the reason why I'm saying that is any boxer we know to typically take a body shot would get up, right? And normally what you would do is you would at least try to move and initiate a clinch. Ryan didn't do anything of the sort. He didn't try to take his mouthpiece out, you know what I'm saying, take a breather. He didn't try to get up, you know what I'm saying, at least stand up, you know what I'm saying, let the ref continue to fight and then engage in the clinch. He didn't do any of that. He just simply flat out gave up on the fight. He didn't want to be there anymore.
Oh, so you said like he acted like he want to be up in there anymore, man. Like he just said, you know what, I'm taking enough as it is, and I'm just pack it in.
He saved himself from taking more punches than to be dished. That's exactly what he did.
Repeat that?
Nah, I said he saved himself from taking more punishment than what was about to be dished out. If he got up, if he
Yeah.
got up, Tank was guaranteed to attack his body again. He saved himself from looking bad. That's what he
And
did.
and I can't knock him for that. Like, okay, I can't knock him, but I'm saying I can't blame him for the self-preservation part of all of that.
Right.
But what I do know is I've seen other boxers at least try. And in this sport, those are the intangibles that make the great fighters, that make the great fights. Respect to him for getting in the ring, but it would have been a total different aura to this fight if he at least tried at the end.
I got a question. Because I heard in the press conference, Tank said he feels like Ryan Garcia might be his toughest opponent, and I personally think Ryan is a C plus B minus level fighter. So is that an indictment on Tank Davis' resume? This is the best opponent he's fought, according to himself.
He said that for real. That what's the
Yeah,
name was his toughest fighter.
yeah.
Toughest opponent.
No, I don't think he answered that. He answered that in a passive way. He didn't really give a straightforward answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I believe him if he did say that. I was thinking he was trying to be nice because everybody know his toughest opponent was Pitbull Cruz.
Really?
I don't know. I think Pitbull was a tough fight, but as far as like a pure boxing match, I think Barrios was his toughest fight.
I mean, but okay. Let's take away Ryan. Isaac Cruz and isn't that an indictment on his resume if those two are like what we talking about? Like Isaac Cruz, that's an elite level guy to you. Like Barrios that's good to you. That's a good boxer to you.
You know the difference between Pitbull Cruz and Ryan Garcia?
What's the difference?
Pitbull Cruz has less talent, but he has more grit, more dog.
Yeah.
But he falls under the same category as Ryan. Was the skill set? What skills that he has? Is it high level skill?
I don't think it's necessarily skill set. It's what you should be looking at with Ryan is the experience. Like everybody has a skill set, but it's the matter of experience. Ryan doesn't have the experience. Ryan hasn't fought anybody on that level of a Tank Davis. Or he hasn't had the fights that can put him in position to, to be on a level of a Tank Davis.
I think it's a step further. This guy is a bad fundamental boxer. I mean, you're not going to tell me this is a legacy fight. The winner of this fight is going to be the face of boxing. One of the participants doesn't understand foot position. Like, be for real. Like, we're going to be for real, though. Like, come on, bro.
I agree with you.
He has 24 fights and doesn't know how to swing his left. Every time he loads up on the left hand, his right hand goes fucking down. Like, nigga, my little brother doesn't do that. You feel me? Like, you niggas is like this is ridiculous. And he still was able to land a right hook on Tank, and that's not even his, like, I don't know. I'm having a hard time you guys telling me, like, this guy's the monster, like, based off the people he's fighting. I'm having a hard time believing this shit. And he's not dominating niggas either. He's losing 3 rounds to fucking Rolly Romero. Like, be fucking for real. Like,
yeah, but the thing is all these guys finishing the job against Tank Davis. So,
no, I'm saying these guys are trash. What I'm saying is these guys are trash. These fights are not supposed to be competitive at any notion. If this guy's what you guys telling me he is.
The reason why the fights are competitive is because Tank Davis don't jab at times. And the guys get more shots off.
That sounds like a flaw. What the hell? You feel me? And then Shakur don't knock people out because he don't got knockout power. What does that mean?
It sounds like a what?
That's a flaw when you say he doesn't jab at.
Yeah, it's a flaw. I'm saying that's a flaw, which is gonna make his fight with Shakur even more interesting.
No, it's not gonna be interesting. It's gonna be the wipeout. It's gonna be 11-1.
Have you seen Shakur against a puncher yet? Have you
Nakatani? Yes, I've seen him against Nakatani.
Nakatani.
You think Nakatani is the same type of puncher as a Tank Davis? I'm talking about a pure. I'm talking about a pure puncher, bro. A pure puncher.
Okay,
Not
that's
somebody who could just punch, but a pure puncher. I'm talking about they'll get you out of there.
Like,
based off my eye test. He's not gonna land enough on Shakur for it to be a problem. He's not gonna land enough on Shakur to be a problem. You're talking about a guy who gets hit consistently by a guy who can't even set up punches, and he's getting hit. And you tell him he's gonna have success against the best boxer in the world right now in terms of skills, bro. In terms of judging distance and all of that. That's Shakur right now. You telling me Tank is gonna beat that? Tank lost 3 rounds to Ryan last night, and Ryan is a C-class fighter.
I think it looks.
Well, I wouldn't say 3. Where you get 3?
where you get 3?
Where you get 3?
I give him round 1. I give him round 3 and round 6. But round 3 and 6 were swing rounds. But so I don't care if he didn't give it to him because it was swing. I give him round 3 and 6 on top of round 1.
I gave him 1 and 6, but everything else in between, I don't know.
And that's
well, I gave him 1, and I gave him a tie on round 6.
Hey, what did y'all score round 2?
Round
10-9.
2. I scored a 10-8. I don't think Ryan did. I had Ryan winning the round before he got knocked down, but he wasn't winning a round big enough to negate the knockdown. So I scored it a 10-8.
Yeah, I scored it 10-9 because I felt like he was winning it big. Like the body language and everything appeared that he, like it. I wouldn't have gave him a 10-8 for the round, but he definitely won the round up until that big shot. And so I made it a 10-9.
I agree with you on that point, but I don't think he was winning enough to negate the knockdown to make it a 10-9. You feel me? Like I don't think it's.
So you don't think it was like dominant enough or wide enough for that to be like a 10-9? It had
put it this way. Put it this way. Tyson Fury did more getting up against Deontay Wilder in the first fight and ending that round than Ryan did, and I still didn't give that round to fucking Tyson Fury. And he dominated before and after in that round, the knockdown. You feel me? And I still didn't give him a 10-8. So there's no way I'm giving Ryan a 10-8 for that.
You know what was odd about this fight? That like just looking at the scorecards, like how often do you get a 10-10 round?
Right.
Only in England. Only in England.
But what I'm saying is like there's so many fights I've seen where there was so little activity that you could have scored it at 10-10, and we've never seen that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's rare. I was saying there's been so many fights I've seen where there's no activity in the first round, where a single fighter doesn't even land a blow. They're just throwing a jab, but they don't land. And it could have been scored at 10-10, but it was scored at 10-9 for whoever.
So how long y'all think it's gonna take for Ryan to sign with Al Heyman? Because we know it's coming. Let's take that elephant out.
Once these numbers get official, then yeah, they're gonna. I feel like they're gonna make a push for him. Because there's some buzz that they wanted to have Ryan Garcia over on this side. So
listen, Ryan versus Rolly Romero for the WA 140 title is coming soon.
I kind of heard that from a certain person. I'll just say that.
Well, I mean, if damn, Ryan got to keep fighting people on the level of Tank if he want to get better. He can't go backwards. If he does,
but that was the thing I was saying before y'all jumped on. Is like who can Ryan face next at this particular point at 140?
Somebody he can beat.
Rolly Romero.
But who is there really that Ryan can like? Just looking at that last performance, who is it? Who's somebody he could wash at 140? Like
Rolly Romero once he gets that 140 title.
I think Rolly gives him a competitive fight.
I'm about to say that might be a good fight.
I be good as in like competitive or good as in skill. That's how y'all talk about.
Like competitive. It'll be competitive.
Yeah, I know the press conference is gonna be one to die for. I know that part.
I don't think Ryan ready for a Rolly, honestly. Rolly more aggressive.
No, I think the punches that those 3 consecutive right hands, those right hooks he landed on Tank when Tank was on the rope, Rolly wouldn't take those.
Yeah, I do want to see. I want to see Ryan box more, man. He just needs to box more.
Yo, here's one thing I did notice Ryan was having success with, and he stopped once he got hit in the second round. He was having success mauling the shit out of Tank. He was finding weird ass little angles to get those punches into.
Right.
On the inside. On the inside. That was good work.
Yeah,
Because
I
to
ain't
me,
know.
that showed a different mentality.
I ain't know that
It was
nigga had an
surprising.
inside game.
Yeah, right. I didn't think he had that either. But he was able to do things as and this was like in the clinch too, which was surprising given that the body shot he didn't initiate a clinch after the body shot. But when he was in the clinch, he would throw like short hooks, inside uppercuts, and like you said, like try to maul Tank and get Tank issues at that particular point. But
Am I
he didn't
tripping to say
really
that Tank
do
looked
that.
like he was rocked a couple of times on those exchanges on the inside?
That's what I'm saying.
He
Tank,
nah, he for sure got popped with a couple
he
shots.
buzzed him in that second round and was
I
winning.
I think I saw that. I think I seen that because I thought I was tripping. It looked like he was buzzed in the second round. He got hit on the side of the temple. He looked like he staggered a little. I thought I was tripping.
It might have been one of those shots that just rocks your brain. Like it probably wasn't no like big hurtful shot, but like, when you take a big shot flush
like
to
the right hand, because I think Tank Davis brought that up in the post fight press conference too. So maybe that was something that did affect him a little bit, but yeah, I mean we see that he was able to recover from that and get into his game and get into his bag and pretty much show that he was on a different level than Ryan Garcia was at that point. So there's that.
Boxing source, you said that you heard that Tank might be going to 140 next, or is that Ryan?
No, Ryan.
Oh, okay.
Ryan said that he's going to 140. Tank Davis will be at 135, and we're gonna see if everything falls into place on May 20th, we're going to have a formal announcement by the WBA to order mandatory or consolidation with
I
their
saw the tweet.
Yeah, so you know what that means.
Broly and Tank again?
No.
They want to consolidate the WBA title, so
The
that
WBA
means
title at lightweight, not super lightweight. Super lightweight doesn't have a super champ anymore. So the thing with the undercard, man, David Morrell had that 1 round KO victory, against Yamaguchi Falcao, like that, that hit, he got some power in those hands, man. And
Hey,
he said,
bro,
hey,
JB, he's a dangerous puncher.
if I'm Benavidez, I fight him now. I don't want to wait any longer for him to get any better. I'm trying to get this nigga out now. In 2-3 fights from now, it's a wrap. It's a fucking wrap. You gotta get this nigga out of here now.
He's a dangerous fighter, bro. Like he done damn near hospitalized his last 2 opponents, bro.
Facts.
I think his punching power is underrated.
Well, it is underrated. Falcao, he got knocked down and flattened, but he got checked out. He is okay. Some people they said that they saw him not that long after, so he's all good. So
I thought he was dead.
So yeah, he's David Morrell there's a WBA regular champ for now. But yeah, I'd say go ahead and if Benavidez maybe they try to get in those fights. So know that they try to have a plan for Benavidez, David Benavidez. Jose Senior talked about it. That he wants to go after someone like Andrade and Charlo before going up against David Morrell, but we'll see how that turns out here. The next,
gotta be first. Gotta be first.
So that's the thing about it.
I think Andre got Benavidez and Charlo. He in communication with both of them right now. I think.
Yeah, he's in communications with Charlo to see about making a fight. So we'll probably follow up with that. I know that the thing with Charlo is his guy is the same trainer as for David Morrell Jr. So Coach Ronnie Shields coaches both of those guys. So we'll see what's the route for both Charlo and David Morrell there in that particular point. The other 2 fights that were on the card, man.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, that was rough to get through. Specifically the one there with Gabriel Rosado and Beck. It looked like Beck was just trying to outbox Gabe. he didn't want to take risks. He didn't want to step it up to another level because it just looked like he didn't want to get caught again. So he just went through the motions through that whole bout, and just got the win. But still, it was like, yo, like, come on, man. What we got here? Oh, got the poll up. Got a poll up still on the main topic on if Ryan Garcia quit. It looks like it's leading. Yes is leading the poll right now. So more people are voting yes than no on that.
Yeah, they only voting yes because they want to make Tank look more menacing, man. That's all.
Let's see.
I got a question about Tank.
All right.
Who beats Tank, or who gives him the best fight and ranked in order?
Let me go first.
Zoe already answered. Zoe already put his answer up.
Let me go first.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go from 135 to 140. We're going to start. Shakur 11-1. Devin Haney 9-3. Loma 7-5. T.O. destroys. T.O. is a 50-50 fight. Taylor mauls him to death. Regis Prograis beat the dog shits out of him. There was all those guys beat some. The Frank Martin fight's even close if y'all want to be real. That's not a gimme either. The Frank Martin fight's
what?
Whoa.
You think the Frank Martin fight is close?
It's not a gimme either, man.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, bro, he gets Frank Martin out of it. Like he finishes Frank Martin.
I mean, he might, but Frank, that style that Frank Martin got, that Tex-Mex style, man, that's a tough style, man.
Frank, look, if Frank Martin was to fight Tank, there's gonna be an opening. There's gonna be an opening that's gonna clip Frank Martin. I'm telling you.
I feel like that falling with Tank. I feel like Tank has got people to fall into the trap that y'all guys are willing to look like, yeah, he loses rounds to the mediocre guys, but you know what? Eventually he's gonna land. Stop thinking that shit. You feel me? Stop thinking that shit. That's the shit that made niggas pick Wilder to beat Tyson Fury all 3 times. Stop thinking that shit. It's still
wait.
Not you. I know you're not part of. I know you're not. I'll just shout out to MVO for my Tomahawk steak. You feel me? But yeah, but like, bro, I understand what y'all saying about that power, but that Frank Martin is slick, man. That nigga is slick. He's not no scrub. He's slick and he's athletic. He has pop. He can get aggressive. You feel me? Go to the body. It's not a gimme. Like, and then Tank like I said, Tank get hit by mediocre fighters.
So you don't think that's part of his plan to get those fighters to be comfortable in their style and set up traps?
Because now they start to open up.
I think he's getting hit.
I mean, I think it'll be probably the only way that Terrence Crawford could beat Spence is that Spence gonna be banking rounds, and the only way Terrence Crawford win that fight is if he catch Spence.
Y'all believe that? Y'all think Terrence Crawford can't just plain outbox Spence?
Nah.
Seriously?
Look at the numbers. He don't throw enough punches, and if he did increase his punch output, he would get tired by round 8. As compared to Spence being able to throw punches, 50, 60 punches around for 12 rounds.
Nigga, using that logic, Mayweather should have lost like 15 of his fights on paper.
Crawford don't move. The thing about Crawford, I was talking about this the other day. I was talking about Crawford, Thurman, and Spence. Crawford don't move enough. Crawford don't move enough around the ring. If you look at Crawford, he keeps the fight in the middle of the ring, and you can't do that with Earl Spence.
I think Crawford moves efficiently, dog. Crawford moves the same way Andre Ward started moving on the second half of his career, dog. He moves efficiently. He moves enough. You feel me? You don't have to jump around the ring and move all around the ring. He moves efficiently and he moves enough.
But you know, Andre Ward was smart enough not to fight a slick black guy toward the end of his career. He fought Kovalev. You do know that too, right?
Who's the slick black guy that Bud's gonna fight? The Walmart. I know you're not calling the bootleg version of Terry Norris a slick guy. I know you're not calling the bootleg version of Terry Norris slick. I know you're not calling it.
Who is that now?
Wow.
The bootleg version of Terry Norris.
Who would that be?
That Errol Spence is a
He's Terry Norris without the athleticism.
Terry Norris. Wow.
Errol Spence is Terry Norris without the otherworldly athleticism. He might have a better chin. I don't know, maybe.
Wow. Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, I ain't a Spence guy, so I'll take whatever you got against him.
I'm not a Bud guy either. Don't make me think that I think Bud's
Nah,
an
I'm
all-time
a
great.
Thurman guy. I'm a Thurman guy, so you know.
Oh shit. You all fucked up, son.
Well, but yeah, before I get into the next topic, there, like, yeah, the other fights from undercard, I thought that Ryan Garcia would take out Kevin Salgado, but that went the full, the full rounds there too, man. It went full 10, and he scored like a unanimous victory on that. He is still undefeated, 15-0.
That
He's
kid's
still
not special though.
young kid though,
No,
19
he's
years
not.
old. Still got a few things to work on and stuff like that too. So, after getting that win that he got, in March, against someone called Vidal, they wanted to put him right back in the ring and see what he could do, there against Kevin Salgado. But he said that hey, he's, still got a few things that he got to work on in that. So,
Hey, about Elijah Garcia, do you think he turned pro too early?
Yeah.
Because I don't think he like his ceiling. He might reach his ceiling a little sooner than expected.
No, I mean, no. He ain't turned pro too early. You could always develop though. He's 19. He has all the time in the world to develop. You could always develop. You just won't have
it's not it's not that. I mean, of course, you got the whole thing where you have those fights in Mexico to start off your young career, whatever it is. But he's been in fighting in the States since 2021 too. So it's like they've been like fitting them in against a few of these other guys that are fairly not that experienced, so to speak, there, but it was like up to the point where you face like Amakar Vidal and now Kevin Salgado. It's like, yeah, these are two different type of levels of fights that he's going into. So I mean, they're probably gonna match him up against those same level guys here at this point. But outside of that, we'll see how it goes because he says that he wants to fight for a world title within a couple years. So if he wants to be a world champion by 21, then that would mean that they would have to, shoot him up pretty quick in the rankings by doing that. That's wild, there, man. That's wild. So there's that. Other joints that was out here over in Vegas, worked out with Devin Haney. So he's getting prepared for his fight against Vasily Lomachenko there for that undisputed lightweight title. He pretty much like said like, hey, this is like a big mistake for Lomachenko to face him at this particular point. They could have fought each other in 2019. At the time, Haney was like the number one contender at WBC. Was supposed to fight for the WBC title that Lomachenko got, and then Lomachenko was named franchise champ. But here we are about 4 years later, and now it's for the undisputed lightweight title where, Devin Haney is on a whole different level. You know what I'm saying? So next month over in Vegas, that fight's going to go down. So I know Zoe is very confident in Haney as far as like him facing, Gervonta Davis, but here against
he's watching Loma. He's watching Loma. Let's be real. He's watching Loma. Let's be real.
That's something I'm expecting here in this fight is that Haney's gonna, really, show this level of skill there against Lomachenko there, and that Lomachenko, I kind of like had a feeling about Lomachenko being in this particular division that he's a completely different type of fighter that he was when he was at super featherweight. And he's been at 135 for a few years here now, but I still see like it's gonna be different when you go against guys like the size of like a Teofimo Lopez or a Devin Haney or even with his last fight that he had against Ortiz. That you see like there are some things that Lomachenko still has issues with fighters that have some size there in the lightweight division. So I'm kind of like seeing that here, in this bout. So I feel like Devin Haney's gonna, really show out here in this particular point in this stage, because it's gonna be a big stage for him here at this point, and it's gonna be like how he did in Australia, against Cambodia.
JB,
He's gonna show out.
can Devin Haney get away with an 8-4 type of fight? Can he trust to get the decision if he beats Loma 8-4? Will he get the decision in that type of fight?
So
Go ahead, Academic.
yeah. So what I was about to say is he gonna be down starting the fight a minimum of 3 or 4 rounds. So based on what you said, 8-4, he could probably be comfortable if he want to tie with that.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing, man. That's the thing, man. I don't know, because I know ESPN are still in love with Lomachenko. They have a love affair with him, So, and I know they've been pushing this Loma versus Shakur thing a lot. So, I don't know if Devin Haney's really has to be super fucking dominant, bro. Like you saw he was super dominant against Cambodia. I think he won the first fight made in my scorecard 11-1, and somebody still found the way to say 116, 112. You feel me? It's gonna be one of those type of situations. You have to really dominate, so you don't leave you might need to score a knockdown or two.
It depends on how effective his jab is. I think the first 8 rounds can be even. You know what I'm saying? Or he may have a jump or two on a round. But
then he loses because we know after round 8, Loma gets really, 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 really good after round 8, so he can't afford it for it to be tired.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like his jab, like he has to put power behind his jab and just wear Loma down with it. Like you really have to touch Loma with your jab. You have to slow him down, because if not, Loma's gonna keep pressing you.
Yeah, keep pressing him, or keep moving side to side. I think Devin Haney also has to have an ability to limit the side to side movement of Lomachenko here. So I would want to see what his ability is to cut off the ring against opponents.
And another thing with Loma's footwork is dynamic and athletic, but sometimes people mistake that for practical. He puts himself in a lot of fucked up situations trying to be fancy. That's what Tio was able to cut off his exit route, because he doesn't have like fundamental footwork. It's all dynamic. Tio was able to cut off his footwork and catch him in spots and exchange with him. I think Devin Haney is way like 6-7 levels above Tio in doing that shit. Jeremiah Ortiz was able to have success doing the same thing, able to move with Loma. I think Devin Haney is probably 10 times better than him. That's what I think Devin Haney got going on for him.
But I think you missing one part, that Jermaine and him were sparring partners. So Jermaine has seen that before.
Yeah, he's seen those elements of Lomachenko's game before. So whenever Lomachenko moves, he knows when to move or where to move also. So that kind of made things a little bit more troubling for Lomachenko up to that particular point. Made that fight really close up to those last couple rounds. So
Haney gonna have to hit that old man in his body early and often, to where he don't be able to dance in them last few rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You want to at least try to sap his energy, early, so that when it gets to those type of rounds, he don't really have those legs to, move around as much. But real quick before I jump on there, it looks like from a post on social media from Gabe Rosado, it looks like he may have wrap things up. He says he has some post on his Instagram page, that he's doing the same for 18 years, and so he feels like he's done good for himself. Well, according to his words, 18 years strong and did pretty good for myself. I hold my head high, knowing that I never fold under pressure, never quit. I had my highs and lows. The journey was well worth it. Thank you to the fans for all the love. So it looks like Gabe, King Gabe might be hanging them gloves up.
I hope he has a good acting career, man.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we seen him out there for those Creed movies, so maybe he'll have some, more spots out there for him. You know what I mean?
Man, they fucked that Creed movie up, bro.
Nah, I like that shit.
I'm telling you, Diamond Dane was supposed to win that fight. we were supposed to get a rematch. We were supposed to get a Creed 5 rematch.
Nah,
Yeah.
man. We even if that did happen, we wouldn't get the Creed 5 because one of Jonathan Major's variant went to go beat that white bitch up, man.
Nah, bro, I'm telling you, listen, he was too big of a star in that film for people not to go see it again.
Nah, man. I think he really fucked up, though. He done got dropped by Vegas, man. I think he fucked up, man. One of his variants was fucking up, dog.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of like
One of those people was a council of kings, saw how powerful he was getting on this earth with the movies. They took him out.
Yeah. So yeah, man. But shout out to Kid Gabe Rosado, man. He was out there. He's a good fighter that did his thing, man. I still kind of like bummed that he went up to 160 to fight Golovkin when he could have had a shot at a 154-pound title at that point. So I don't know, man. Maybe at that point, if he stayed at 154 and fought for a title and probably won, I don't know how his career would have shaped up at from that point. You know what I'm saying? But
he's gonna take a lot of tough fights, man.
yeah. But that Haney Lomachenko joint on May 20th, man. That's gonna be good little thing coming up. They have a few other fights there that's gonna be part of it as well. They're kind of like locking down the card. I know that Nico Ali Walsh is gonna be part of that card on May 20th. Andrew Maloney there will be part of that card as well. They were part of the workout that was last week here. But last thing I was going to jump on was there was supposed to be a little bit of a announcement of a return of the former multi-division world champ.
Manny Pacquiao?
No, not Manny Pacquiao. Even though he was in attendance.
Adrian Broner,
right? It was Adrian Broner.
Nobody want to hear about that fake ass breakfast.
I heard somebody told me he didn't show up to a press conference.
Well, okay. So all right. So let me break this down, right? So they had Dark King Promotions or whatever it is. They put out the press release that they were gonna have a press conference that was at New York hotel. That was going to be Saturday morning, which was yesterday, Saturday morning. It was going to involve Adrian Broner. I was like, all right, bet. So media people were going in there. It was scheduled for 10 a.m. Pacific time, and we all there. So we see a post on there. It says Adrian Broner against Hutchinson, which is Bill Hutchinson. That was going to be the fighter that he was going to fight on June 9th. So we get there. It was supposed to be scheduled for 10 a.m. Eastern time. We're there at 10 a.m. Nobody, he doesn't show up. At 11 a.m. Still didn't show up. Bill Hutchinson there waiting. So they go ahead and they have a little bit of a press conference that took about like 10 minutes with Bill Hutchinson speaking on Adrian Broner not showing up to the press conference and hoping that he'll be able to show up on June 9th. And this is going to be in Miami. This is, so, it's still like one of those things that Don King puts up. So, so that is what basically happened on Saturday morning over here in Vegas. Is that Adrian Broner didn't show up to the press conference, and as of right now, I didn't even see any update as to why he didn't show up. So
he training.
Oh, yeah, that's what.
Is his career over? Is he ever gonna fight again?
I mean, after this joint, man, I don't know. Because as far as I know, he done watched his Instagram page. As of right now, he only has 4 posts on there.
I think AB can make a comeback. I'm rooting for AB to make a comeback. You know what I'm saying? I think he could get there. I think he can get there. He 140, 144.
Well, it's like 140, I guess, is this particular bout is where this is supposed to be at. So I mean, we'll see. Like I said, it's like two less than 2 months away. So we'll see how that shapes up. I was thinking that Adrian Broner was gonna at least have a fight over in Ohio, like having it in Miami. I'm not sure. I mean, that was like when he was supposed to have what was it out against Omar
Michael
Figueroa
Williams.
Jr. Yeah, so I don't know, man.
Hey, Jr.
Yo,
Is it really that bad for him to purge his social media and probably start distancing from that? Is that really that bad?
uh, yeah, I mean, people do it. You know what I'm saying? They purge their social media accounts and things like that. Try to see about starting fresh. So, maybe he's doing that or whatever it is, but who knows, man? There's a couple things that you got to do in order to, uh, I guess, reinvent yourself. But this is an interesting, cover photo that he got too. But anyway, um, but yeah, if you want to start over, I guess that that's part of what you might have to do, from a PR standpoint. So maybe that was his move there on that. So who knows?
Hey, yo, Jr.
Yo,
I got a prospect I need you to check out, man. He's gonna be the future world champion at 168, man.
168.
Yeah. His name is Darrell Saint, Haitian kid, out of Orlando, Florida. He represented Haiti in the Olympics. He's currently 7-0 with like 6 knockouts. Real big kid, switch hitter, nasty.
Was it Darrell?
Yeah, Darrell Saint, nickname Blast. They call him Blast Saint.
Okay.
He fights. He usually be on the Pro Box TV. He usually fights on Pro Box.
Oh, Pro Box. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
So they probably got something. Yeah, they probably got something on them there. If I go on Pro Box right now, they probably got something where he's on it.
Oh, hey, isn't Lamont Roach supposed to have a fight coming up, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I was thinking so, but I thought he was trying to be put in position to, fight for a world title though. He's a top contender in what was it, the WBA, I think it is, at super featherweight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're trying to, make a fight between him and Hector Luis Garcia or not, but that remains to be seen. But I haven't seen any updates on if they locked that down yet.
Yo, he's probably, I'm not gonna lie, he might be the best boxer out of the DMV right now. And he's not getting the credit he deserves. Like I think it's he's underlooked.
You got him over Russell.
Yeah, but I see a lot in Lamont, bro. Like Lamont ain't really been talked about like everybody else. Like on a mainstream level, not at all.
I mean, yeah, he did have this low loss there to what was it, to Herring, when I think he was trying to go for the WBO title at that one point. They had that one loss to Herring, but the thing is, man, Golden Boy ain't really moved Roach like that, man.
No.
I'm gonna keep it real. Herring, I'm not trying to, diss nobody, man, but you can't say this guy's one of the most best people out of DMV. Herring is not nice. You can't be losing to somebody like Herring is not nice, bro. Herring is mediocre, man. I feel like because he fought in the army, a lot of people don't like to admit that shit, but that nigga's mediocre, bro. Let's keep it
real. Well, I mean, since that bout in 2019, like Roach has won all of his bouts, but yeah, we got to see like where he's gonna be positioned if he's gonna contend for one of those world titles soon out there at 130. But I mean, we'll see on that. But
Gerald, do you think Colbert could beat Garcia in a rematch?
Chris Colbert?
I think so. I think he fights smarter than he can.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
I think he fights smarter than he can.
Yeah. Well, I've been on for about like 2 hours, man. I'm ready this show to a close was about like 8:30 Eastern time, whatever it is. But big shout out to everybody that's jumped on to this conversation here. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Tim Bailey. Shout out to the Boxing Source Hall of Famer, MVO, and the Boxing Academic here for this conversation here on this
MVO, give me my steak.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still listening or if he's still taking it or
He probably taking a nap, his old ass.
yeah, he's probably either taking a nap or he's trying to hold down Chico or something like that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
he over there
JR,
petting his cat.
JR, before you leave, we're gonna be at the WBO convention.
Yo, what's that?
I said before you leave, we're gonna be at the WBO convention.
Oh no, I think that's over what, Chicago?
No, it's gonna be in Punta Cana.
Oh, Punta Cana. Oh no. I had to set up something else, man. Probably gotta go to one of these other joints, man. Like the WBA convention or WBC, one of them.
I'm not saying if you go to one in Punta Cana, let me know because.
All right, I got you. All right. No doubt, I got you. So yeah, so yeah, that brings it into this conversation. Yeah, shout out to all those that were able to get in and speak their piece on topics for the day, and those on the live chat. Big thanks to y'all. We'll have this available on demand through iTunes and all the other audio platforms. Like I said, the end of every show, folks. Point of boxing is a hit, not your hit. Not understanding trade. On that note, folks, I'm out. Have a good evening, everybody.